Kia ora koutou. Hello everyone. My name is Alicia and I am a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator based in Hamilton, New Zealand. And I have been a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator for 9.5 years now. So first thing today, I would love to say aroha nui, which means lots of love, and big thanks to Stephanie Pletcher for inviting me to represent New Zealand and present for our World Card Making Day 2022 today. I'm excited to be here and excited to share with you about New Zealand. So some of you may know New Zealand is known as Middle Earth. We're actually in the far south of the world and lucky enough to be the first people to see the sun every day. New Zealanders are affectionately known as Kiwis after our national bird icon. So here's our little guy. We are a country that is rich in culture, and our Indigenous people are known as Māori. The Māori have lots of different cultural protocols that are part of many aspects of their life here in New Zealand, which include things like welcomes and farewells, celebrations, even tangihanga, which is like your funeral, and even our sports. So they have lots of traditional dances and songs that are part of all these protocols. And one of them that you may have heard of or know of is the haka, which some of our sports teams do before they play their games. So traditionally, the haka is known as a war dance, but it's also now used in a lot of those events and celebrations that I talked about earlier. So, and they have beautiful traditional garments that they wear during these performances or these protocols. Here's a photo of some of the men in their traditional garments, and in the background you'll see some of our women as well, and here is a photo of our women. So these are really cool, and they're really lovely to look at. I love all the patterns and the colors that are in these costumes or these garments, and they sometimes make great inspiration for our creating as well, for our crafting. And these performers, these two photos are actually of performers that participate in a national competition, where they show off all their different songs and dances. And because we have different regions in the country, and a lot of our Indigenous people from different regions don't necessarily share all the same actions or songs, so these competitions show off a lot of that as well, and it's amazing to watch because you get right into the culture, you're exposed to the culture, and you're also exposed to a lot of the beautiful designs that they have on their garments. So that's a little bit about our Indigenous people. And another New Zealand icon that you might be familiar with is the silver fern. And here's what it looks like in real life. It's just a regular green fern, but what's special about our silver fern is on the underside of the fern, it is actually white or silvery white. And a lot of hikers and trampers traditionally, or our Indigenous people as well, traditionally would use these as navigation tools in our forests. So what they would do is they would flip the underside of the fern over, so especially if they're traveling or lost in the night, because the underside actually reflects against the moonlight, so it means that you can kind of see where you've been throughout the jungle, throughout the forest as you're walking through, because these silver ferns, once you've turned them over, will reflect in that moonlight, which is really cool. So you would be more familiar, obviously, with the silver fern on a black background, or a white fern on a black background, like you would have seen on some of our national sports teams, like the All Blacks. And here's a photo of the All Blacks performing the haka too. And as you can see on their uniform, or their shorts and jersey, you can see there's the silver fern embroidered on their black clothing. So that's really cool. So that's our All Blacks. And here we have our Silver Ferns. So our national netball team are also called the Silver Ferns. And they sport our silver fern on their jerseys as well. So just right here, it's a little bit small and hard to see, but yeah, you can see some of them. So a lot of our athletes have the silver fern on their uniforms or on their jerseys when they represent New Zealand, including Olympic gold medalist rower Dame Lisa Carrington and Olympic gold medalist short putter Dame Valerie Adams. So a lot of our athletes wear the silver fern, and they wear it proudly because it's such an iconic symbol of New Zealand. And because it is such an iconic symbol of New Zealand, I wanted to showcase it on a card for my project today. So I've got a really simple card today, nothing too fancy, but it packs a lot of wow, and those are the kinds of cards that I love making. Quick and easy cards, but they pack so much into it that it's gorgeous, right? So I was very excited when Stampin' Up! Came up with the Nature's Prints stamp set, and obviously it's got a coordinating bundle that will cut some of these images out, as well as a couple of labels that go with it. So today, as you can see, here's a little fern, and when I saw it, I knew straight away that I'd be making lots of cards using this to represent New Zealand as a silver fern. So that's what we'll be using today, and I'll quickly show you the card that I've made today. Here it is. Simple black card. I find there's not a lot of people use black as their card base, or even as their card front. So I really wanted to showcase that today, and how you can make it pop in your projects. So I've got the silver fern here, embossed in silver on black card, and I've got a black card front on a black card base, so black on black, and I've got a fun little splatter going on there, which I'll show you how to do, and then a little bit of the silver metallic mesh ribbon, and a nice little sentiment that says Aroha Nui. And this sentiment I fussy cut out from our United Through Creativity 2021 download that Stampin' Up! Provided us. So it's got 3 kia ora and 3 of our good as gold saying that we use quite a bit here, and obviously the Aroha Nui, 3 of them as well, and I've used one of those. And we've got a beautiful silver fern here, silver fern image here as well for you to use and cut out. So let's get started. I'll put my card up to one side for now so I can show you what you need. Right, so we've got a black card base, which is just a half a sheet of your 8.5 by 5 1/4, I think, in the US. Sorry if I'm mistaken, because we have A4 here in New Zealand. So half a sheet of that scored in half, and then a 1/4 sheet of your cardstock in black, and then a piece of scrap black that will fit your fern image, a length of your silver metallic mesh ribbon, and this one will just be whatever the width of your card will be. Okay, so that's just the length roughly. We're going to cut it down anyway. And then the other things you'll need today will be your fern stamp, obviously, and we'll need your Versamark ink with that, and we're going to use it with the silver embossing powder. And you'll also need your white crafting with a dauber, sponge dauber. And then you will also need your white, your white pearlized enamel effects basics, and a clear block. Any size will do. and a water painter and your heat tool, obviously, which we'll need for the embossing. So, sorry, feeling a bit dry in my throat. I'm just going to have a quick swig of water. Right, so to get started, what we'll do is we'll bring in that black card base again, and we're going to bring in that clear block and that water painter. And what we're going to do is we're going to create our splatter background. We're going to take the pearlized enamel effects in white, and we're just going to squirt a little bit, get it going. Squirt a little bit on the clear block. Don't need much, just a little bit. And then we are going to add a bit of water. So I'm just going to open my barrel. And just going to add 2 or 3 drops of water. So how much water you add will determine how runny it is. And then come in with your brush end, and we're just going to mix that up. And you'll get this creamy, milky white kind of look on your block. And we're just going to pick that up, and with my trusty dandy bone folder, I'm going to splatter that all over my card like so. It's a bit hard to see, but you can just see, look, there's some shiny silvery splatters. Right, and with the magic of television, I can put those aside and show you one that I did previously. Oops, I'll wipe away some of that sparkle. So here's one that I did previously. So what you want to do is start with this and then set it off to dry. And then what you're going to do is then come in with your white craft ink. And you're going to take some with your dauber and always tap off a little bit first, because you don't want too much ink, because you can't take ink away, but you can always add ink, right? So then we are going to just flick the dauber over the edges of the card. And the purpose of this is so that, because we're doing black on black, it just helps this layer pop a little bit more, alright? So here's what we're going to do. Just flicking it. You can come in a little bit more if you want a more prominent border. I'm happy with just a little bit. And there we go. So can you see the difference now? Oh well, you can't really see because I've got a white piece of paper at the back. But here's that against the black now. See what a huge difference it makes, and it makes that card pop. So now we're going to just clear away the ink pad, and we will get some tape. I'm going to turn this over. Here's a fun tip for you, for those of you who use tear and tape. Once you've found the end, which I'm struggling to find right now. Oh, here it is. Right, once you've found your end, I like to hold it. Right, here's my end. So you can see it's my end. And then I'll stick my hand through, and then I guide it through this way. And then I take an old gift card to run over and rip my tear and tape. So this way, my tear and tape has a fairly straight edge and just makes it easier to peel that backing off when you're going to rip it off. Right, so then what I'm going to do is peel off the backing. Oops. And I'm going to create a little tab like so. I've just cut my nails and I can't get to the tape. Right, okay, so here's the 4 pieces. Right, and I like using my grid paper to line up my card against it, just so that I know that it's straight. Oops, bring it down a little bit. And then I'm just going to layer my card over the top like so, and then we're going to peel off the backing tape. So the reason why I did the tab like this is if it happened to be crooked, I've only exposed a little bit of the tape, and I can remove the card front and reposition it again. All right, so I'll put that aside because that's ready. And then now we'll need our little piece of black cardstock. I am so happy these embossing buddies are back. They are so good for embossing, especially on black cardstock, right? Because you don't want it to show anywhere else other than on the image. So I've embossed that. I'm going to come in with my Versamark ink pad. Sorry, don't mind my grubby old Versamark ink pad. It's well used and well loved. So we're going to ink up my image, and then we're going to stamp it on. And then I'm going to bring in my tweezers. And, oops, reaching over for my embossing powder. I've got a little plastic container that I normally have like about 2 pots of embossing powder going each time. And then I've got a little spoon, pick it up, sprinkle it all over our card, and then give it a good flick. Like so. Right, I think that's good. Oh, actually you don't have to worry about that little spot over there because we're going to cut it out anyway. Right, so then we come in with our heat tool, and we are going to heat our image up. So apologies for the noise, but hopefully you'll bear with me. It'll only be a couple of minutes. So here we go. And you'll know it's ready when it turns shiny. So hopefully you can see it on the video. Here we go, it's starting. And just keep going till the whole image is done. Right. Oops. There we go, that's done. And then, take the tweezers off. Oh, I'm going to close the lid on that so I don't get inky fingers. Right, once that's ready to go, you can bring in your mini stamping cut and emboss machine. Right, just move them there. I've got my plates ready to go. And then I'm going to put my image on there, and I'm going to line up the die. And because this is an outline die, I don't want it to move, so I've got a piece of washi tape that I will use to hold it in place. Put the plate over, and then we are going to send it through. Oh, sorry about the wibbling and the wobbling. Here we go. That's all done. Take it. Oops, it's been left on the plate. All right. So here's our fern, and now it's literally putting the rest of the card together. So here's our card front again, and we are going to use the silver mesh ribbon. And like I said, I like having my card straight on the grid paper. Then that way I know it's lined up straight. I am going to use a little bit of our Stampin' Steel Plus to put a small line of adhesive right there. Oops, get it going. Right there. Whoa, doesn't want to go. Right here like so. And that will just help anchor the ribbon. I want it around about there. Cool. I'll just help anchor the ribbon. And then we're going to put some dimensionals on the back of this fern. So 1, 2, 3. Oh, I might need another little one there. Let's go put a little one there. Now, I go a little bit OTT with my Stampin' Dimensionals because I have a rule. We don't like sagging, whether it's boobies or cards, okay? So, if you don't like lots of dimensionals, look away. Right, so that's my dimensionals. Peel the backing off. And then I'm just going to place the silver fern covering the edge of that ribbon. Like so. And then I'm going to come in with my ribbon scissors. And just give it an angle cut like so. And that's ready to go. Now, I'm not going to bore you with fussy cutting on my video. You can see what it looks like. Here's what the sentiment looks like. So this is pretty much the card all finished, right? We just need the sentiment on there. So and you don't have to put aroha nui. You can put any other sentiment on there that you want, okay? So there's that one. But like I said, I won't bore you with the fussy cutting. So now I'm just shaking up my pearlized enamel effects. And I'm just going to add a few drops around the card. So, and the longer you press, the bigger the little dots will be. So if you want a bigger dot, just hold it a little bit longer, and then I want some little ones there, and then another big one there. So there you go. And you just need to set those aside to dry. It does take a while, so make sure that you do that a little bit later. Sorry, not a little bit later. Make sure you leave it for a little bit before you use your card. All right, so that's the finished card. I'll bring the finished card back in and put the other one aside. And if you want to, and because it's a black card base, you'll want to have a white insert on the inside. And I've just kept it really simple, just a white insert and then a little black fern stamped on the inside as well, just to tie in the front and the inside. So that's my project. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed my little presentation about New Zealand and learnt a little bit about my little country. And I hope you also learned some good tips from my project today. So, kia pai tora, which means have a good day and enjoy the rest of the World Card Making Day event. Thanks so much for joining me. Bye.